sports talk show you've always wanted. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. From preps to pros. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yow.
Welcome into this Friday edition of Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yow, Mo Patton, JP Plant with you here, and we are in the Lee Company studio. Happy to have you guys along with us today. WKOM 101.7 FM, WZYX 94.5, The Eagle. It's going to be a great Friday. We are so excited to be bringing you all of the local news that is news across the world, including some news of our own. The jig is up and the news is out.
Yeah. You hate to get scooped on your own story.
You hate to get scooped on your own story, but sometimes it is what it is. Yeah. Mo, we are proud members of Main Street Media beginning Monday. Officially beginning Monday. I guess the news is out. It's official.
I guess it's Twitter. It's Twitter official.
No take backsies. No. Can't have that.
Yeah. So it's exciting. It's interesting. This is where JP put the mic. So
I understand.
Yeah.
We're in a brand new studio today, guys. So if you couldn't tell, Mo's got the cool stuff behind him today. That's no, behind you. You got the bookshelf. Normally JP has the bookshelf, so you get the cool background today.
Well, JP's got all the room to work.
He does.
He
does.
Though, so.
And we are super excited.
A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. New things are happening. Lots of stuff going on, and we have a great show for you today. Obviously it took a little longer to get into the show as we were still working through our early
new
hiccups.
Surroundings.
Yeah, new surroundings and that sort of thing. So it is what it is. That being said, great show. We have the Braves, of course. We're going to talk about those guys right off
You
the
knew
bat.
we were going to talk about the Braves today.
Yeah, I mean,
as soon as you saw last night's result, you knew we were going to talk about the Braves today.
And we're not going to waste any time. So next segment, we're going to get that going. We'll also talk about Richland football as the Raiders get ready to embark on their season. They'll be the first team in our coverage area to play a game. They'll play on Thursday, August 19th. So looking forward to that. Of course, we're going to talk college football because what radio show in the South is not talking college football on August 6th? So we'll get to that. Of course, the Titans. And finally, we end the day, as we always do on Friday, with T. Willie talking NASCAR, but also pretty big race in Nashville this weekend. So we'll get to all of that and more. But first, we have a special guest. We never do this. This is the first time this has ever happened, having a guest in the first segment of the show. But when it's a guy of this caliber, a guy who is no stranger to small town radio, he's so much of a small town radio guy, he created an entire small town radio station in his head. Joining us from outsider.com, 740 The Pylon, with the greatest tagline in small town radio history.
Don't hit the pylon.
If it ain't on the pylon.
It's out of bounds. There we go.
Wes Blankenship joins us now on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Wes, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, fellas, thanks for having me on. It's quite the intro. Sounds like y'all have a lot going on. I'm honored to be a part of the programming today.
It has been a week, to say the least, Wes, and we're happy to have you. I thought this would be a great time to have you on because obviously Fridays in the South, we're always talking about high school football. No better time to start now. I mean, we have jamborees coming up next week here in Tennessee with the season starting on August 19th. And before we get too far into this, we need to give some folks some background. For those who don't know you, give us a little bit of your background and how you became the Coffee Town guy.
Yeah, I mean, Coffee Town is just an invention of my creative mind that I had some extra time. I was between jobs and seemed, like it could be a scary time for me, but I just kind of chose to capitalize on some creative ideas that I'd had in the years past while I was working in local television news. And, I really didn't have an avenue working in jobs like that to display, a lot of the comedic stuff, ideas that I'd had. Louis Grizzard's been a big influence on, my creative work, but it's just not really an appropriate thing. Not that it can't be done. You can do it the right way, be funny on local TV news. People do it, but the idea of Coffee Town specifically was one that I'd been thinking about for years, probably back to 2014. So to actually bring it to Twitter as kind of a comedic sketch, I guess, in the fall of 2019, it was a longer time coming than I think a lot of people realize. I worked in Macon, Georgia, and Atlanta, Georgia, covering a lot of great high school football teams, in different realms. South Georgia and Central Georgia is a lot different than Gwinnett County, where I grew up, which is, very suburban and, really, really heavily recruited area. Not that other areas aren't, but places like Peach County in Georgia, I'm not sure if any of your listeners are familiar with them, but it's just a different vibe. It's red dirt, and that's high school football is the only thing going on in those towns. So I was pretty well steeped in Southern high school football and all the different levels and all the different flavors it can have. And I'd always thought about, the fact that a high school football radio announcer could be a pretty funny sketch for people that are familiar with it. I thought it was just a regional thing, but when I put the first few videos out in 2019 and they went viral, I was getting responses from people in Georgia and Florida and Tennessee and Carolinas, but I was also hearing from people in Nebraska and California and Washington State. And it really opened my eyes to the fact that these small town radio calls of small town high school football are a lot more nationally shared than I realized. And that's when I kind of understood, like, wow, this started out as like an inside joke for me and the people that I know, but this is a lot bigger than I realized.
Yeah, and Coffee Town ain't made up high school, obviously, but you have kind of embraced the idea of local high school football radio, and we have that here. When you listen to the high school football broadcast on WKOM or WKRM or WZYX, you hear very similar types of things because, that's just when you write as a sports writer, as we are, we read sports writers. And so we kind of have emulated those. Well, when you grow up in a small town and that's what you hear on the radio and you become the play-by-play guy one day because you've lived here all your life, you kind of just pick up on those things. And it's one of those things that it's evolved, but not nearly as much as some people may think, So it's really neat
right.
to know that high school football that broadcast style is nationally accepted. It's pretty cool. Now, tell us a little about what you are doing now at outsider.com. When I follow you guys on Twitter, it's everything. Just like the other day, you're talking about, Alabama's 40-hour week. Doesn't even mention anybody from Alabama. Isn't that crazy? But the Twitter is fantastic. It's kind of pop culture, kind of Southern culture. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, myself and a country music expert named Jim Casey and a guy named Marty Smith helps us out every now and then on Twitter. And we are exactly what you said. We're lifestyle, we're country music, entertainment, pop culture, movies like anywhere from The Big Lebowski to No Country for Old Men. That's our flavor. and outdoors as well. I mean, with a name like Outsider, that makes sense, right? But our whole MO is to find stories and create original content that bring people together, that bring Americans together. And, a lot of us have more in common than we realize or, want to realize, I think, in a lot of cases right now. And it's an ambitious goal to create a content company that produces stuff like that in 2021. We acknowledge that and we get that, but we also want to have a whole lot of fun doing that, and not take ourselves too seriously as we do that. So that's what Outsider's all about, is just helping people find that common ground in American culture and entertainment and humor. Coffeetown fits that mold for a couple reasons. It's funny and supposed to be lighthearted, but I believe, for all the reasons I spoke about earlier, that high school football in and of itself is one of those things in America that brings us together.
No question, man. And we don't have a whole lot more time with you, but I do want to thank you for, just bringing that to our world, because, again, I would have also thought it was a regional type of joke. And so knowing that you're getting that response from across the country, it kind of makes you say, well, when you hear AM high school football radio as you're driving through on a Friday night, or sometimes even the guests on our Friday Night Live show, JP, we get it can get a little interesting. So we appreciate what you've done for high school football and keeping us laughing through this last year, because obviously we we felt the same issues that you felt as we had to go out on our own at the beginning of the pandemic last year. So you kind of helped me through that time as as someone who was trying to get through the pandemic as unemployed and that sort of thing. So I appreciate it, man.
Man, that means the world to me, and I've heard a lot of people tell me stuff like that. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for it, man.
Yeah, and we are grateful for the time you're able to spend with us today. I hate that we had to cut you so short, but hey, here's the great thing. You're closing on a house today. Congratulations, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, there's a lot going on today, but but it's all fun. Might as well get it done before the season starts, right?
Hey, you have to, because September 1st, it's Coffeetown and the Possums of
Red Pine High.
The Red Pine Possums. So September 1st, check it out. That'll be on Wes_InShip on Twitter. Wes_InShip.
And at Outsider, we'll have all the videos I create moving forward and write-ups about that. Will all be there for you too. So if any of the stuff we spoke about earlier strikes your fancy, then check us out. We'd love to have you.
We'll do it, man. Wes Blankenship of Outsider.com and the voice of Coffeetown High. Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, y'all have a great weekend.
You too, man. All right, we are just about ready to end segment 1. But first, as always, we give you the rundown.
This is the Rundown. The Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit Realty Bob Lamb and Associates. The voice of the Blue Raiders also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or through his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support local youth sports in southern Middle Tennessee.
In Thursday baseball action, Post 19 playing in the American Legion Southeast Regional Tournament down in Pelham, Alabama, was eliminated by Retief Oil New Orleans Post 285, falling 2-0 in that ball game on Thursday. Major League Baseball from Thursday night of local interest. The Chicago Cubs defeated the Colorado Rockies 6-5. It was Cincinnati 7, Pittsburgh 4, and the Braves with an 6-run 8th inning defeated St. Louis 8-4.
In Olympic action, women's hoops, Team USA advances to play for the gold with a 79-59 win over Serbia. Canadian Football League action started last night as the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defeated the Hamilton Tiger Cats 19-6. And in NFL preseason action, it was the Hall of Fame game. Pittsburgh Steelers 16, them Cowboys just 3.
How about them boys?
How about them?
Baseball action tonight on television. The Mets will play at Philadelphia. That's a 6 o'clock start on ESPN. At 6:20, the Nationals start a 3-game series at Atlanta. Again, 6:20. That's on Bally Sports South. Is that what it's called? Okay. It will also be broadcast on our sister station, 103.7 WKRM FM. Pregame begins at 5:05. At 7:40 on ESPN Plus, the Marlins play at Colorado. And a 9 o'clock game has Arizona playing at San Diego. Not a televised game, but it is a Ryan Weathers start. So
Figured we'd tell you about it.
Yeah, we figured we'd tell you about it, and we're going to talk more about that later.
Yes, we will. Tomorrow, 3:05 on FS1, Mets at Phillies. The Braves and Nationals again at 6:20 on Bally Sports South and WKRM 103.7 FM. Also, the Padres are on television Saturday. They host the Diamondbacks at 7:40 Central Time on FS1, the second part of that doubleheader.
Televised baseball on Sunday has the New York Mets at Philadelphia at 12:05 p.m. on TBS. The Nationals continue their series at the Braves at 12:20 on Bally Sports South, 11:05 on WKRM 103.7 FM. 3:10 on ESPN Plus, it's Arizona at San Diego. And at 6 o'clock on ABC.
I've never seen a baseball game on ABC, so I was like, what?
All Windy City all the time. The White Sox come across town to take on the Northsiders at Wrigley Field.
In Canadian football action tonight, it's the BC Lions traveling to Saskatchewan as they take on the Rough Riders. That is an 8:30 kick on ESPN Plus. Tomorrow, you can catch the Toronto Argonauts at the Calgary Stampeders. It's a 6 o'clock kick, and it will be on ESPN2, The Deuce.
The Deuce. High school football, we got scrimmages, we got jamborees. Tonight, South Gibson is at Columbia Academy. Loretto travels to Scotts Hill. Hope they're on the road. Stewart's Creek will be at Summit. Hillsborough is at Independence. Richland is at Moore County. And you've got a 3-way scrimmage at Spring Hill and Summertown will both be over in Lyles against East Hickman. On Saturday, the Christian Community School Jamboree at White House. Zion Christian will take on Providence Christian and South Haven Christian.
In Olympic action this weekend, tonight, you can catch Team USA taking on France for the gold medal in men's basketball. That's a 9:30 tip. In baseball, at 5 a.m. Saturday morning, Team USA and Japan in that gold medal game. And tomorrow, Team USA women basketball take on Japan also in a gold medal game. That is a 9:30 tip as well. And that's going to do it for your Friday rundown on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. When we return, we'll talk Atlanta Braves baseball on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We will be right back to the Lee Company studio right after this, so stick around.
Parks Motor Sales in Columbia has a large assortment of quality new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, a trusted sales staff, and financing plans that fit any budget. Visit Parks once and you'll quickly discover why people all over Middle Tennessee have been buying vehicles there for more than 60 years. And factory-certified technicians can service and repair your vehicle as long as you own it. Go to parksmotorsales.com or stop by the lot at 919 Nashville Highway and take a test drive today.
Are you thinking about a new fence? Maybe you need a pole barn. Then you should give Sands Fence Company a call. That's 931-309-1644. Will Sands has built his business based on the principles of honesty, quality, and integrity. Sands Fence Company has been in business for over 20 years, providing the community with farm, residential, and commercial fencing, as well as pole barns and buildings. Call today for a free estimate. Sands Fence Company, 931-309-1644. 931-309-1644.
Hi, I'm Steve, the garbage man. Have you been hauling your own garbage to the convenience center? Are you tired of doing it? Does your work schedule keep you from hauling it off regularly? Is your teenage son not taking it off like he promised when he got his driver's license? Do you have something better to do on Saturday? If any of these questions strike home to you, call the garbage man at 931-540-0919 and your problem will be solved.
Are you looking for a hometown jeweler? Maybe you're new to Murray County or have been traveling 30 miles or more to have your jewelry cared for. Well, you no longer have to. Hello, this is Rick Tillis of Tillis Jewelry right here in Columbia. We're located at 105 West 7th Street in downtown Columbia. We have a full-service repair shop that can repair your jewelry no matter where you purchased it. That's right, we work on all jewelry, even if you just need it clean and inspected. That is a service that is always free of charge and done while you wait in our beautiful store. Come see me at Tillis Jewelry. You will be glad you did.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that actually matter, like the drywall that somehow isn't. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Call Davis Heating and Cooling at 931-388-2090. Davis Heating and Cooling is your local American Standard dealer and proudly serves the Murray County area. Find Davis Heating and Cooling online and on Facebook or call today, 388-2090.
For 40 years, Beck Dental Care has been the personalized and comfortable option for the health of your smile. The caring staff maintains a high level of safety protocols and attention to detail. Advanced technology provides your choice of sedation and the best of dental implant solutions to restore complete oral health. Open until 7 p.m. 2 nights a week. 931-388-8452. Beck Dental Care in Columbia, 1603 Rosewood Drive.
When the Braves play, Chris and Mo are talking about it.
Yeah, that's trash can juice.
Speak for yourself.
For better or worse, on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Back to the Lee Company studio. Yep, they're fans too. Here's Chris and Mo.
Welcome back into Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Bottom of the first hour of our 2-hour show. Happy to have you guys along with us. WKOM 101.7 FM. WZYX 94.5. The Eagle. It's Friday. Only a few minutes left in this work week if you are still out there working. If not, congratulations. You've made it to the weekend and we are happy for you. I will tell you, if anybody is happier that it's Friday than the St. Louis Cardinals because they don't have to play the Atlanta Braves tonight, I will be shocked, because the best fans in baseball, the classiest organization in baseball.
Well, the best fans in baseball were treated to some pretty bad baseball over this series.
Brutal for them.
Yeah.
Fantastic for us.
We'll take it.
Absolutely.
I mean, I said, I was sitting there watching last night, and I almost felt sorry for Alex Reyes. I mean, Jody and I were sitting there watching the game, and she's like, "Why can't he? What's wrong with him?" I'm like, you know, it happens. It just happens sometimes. And I didn't realize, because I wasn't paying that much attention to the All-Star game, Alex Reyes was an All-Star?
Well, he's not been bad until last night. He was just putrid. Matter of fact, after the game, I was told that he was hungry, but he couldn't find a plate. Sorry. I couldn't help it. Oh, man.
3 bases loaded walks.
3 bases loaded walks.
And then they relieved him, and the guy that came behind him threw another one.
Just absolutely. I won't say unprecedented, because I'm sure it's happened before. But
I don't know that it has.
If it hasn't, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it hasn't. Yeah. That's unusual, to say the least. And the Braves,
4 bases loaded walks mean somebody got on by a walk and scored.
And the weird thing is, it's typically the Braves who are doing that sort of thing, not the beneficiary.
Not benefiting from it, yeah.
So that's kind of where I personally have, I've kind of gotten a little excited when you're on the other side of it. And I tweeted that last night. It's very nice to be on the other side of something like that.
Yeah, and much needed.
Today, August 6, 2021, the first day the Atlanta Braves go into a brand new day with a record above 500.
Unbelievable. 109 games into a 162-game schedule, and the Braves are finally over 500.
I'll take it, because like I told you, as soon as they hit that hump, once they got over it, it was going to be all downhill from there, and the Nationals just happened to be standing in the tracks and the train's coming through.
And as Ed Orgeron would say, we coming.
Like I said, you tell them I'm coming. And hell's coming with me.
So the Braves open a 3-game series at home tonight against the Nats. Braves 55-54. The Nats 49-60.
And sellers at the deadline.
Not very good. And it seems, looking at Twitter.
Oh man. It's our guy. We're going to score some runs against Fetty.
Yeah. Yeah, just wait till Ben Ingram and Joe Simpson get a load of this. Yeah, don't worry. We're gonna get some runs against this guy. And it seems Juan Soto's not in the starting lineup for the Nats.
Well, I mean,
why would he be?
At this point, just send him down to AAA.
Yeah, why waste his time? Shoot, go home, bro. We'll catch you in 2022. 6:20 start for this one at Truist Park. Again, pregame starts on our sister station, WKRM 103.7 FM at 5:05. Kyle Muller gets the start for the Braves, 2-3 with a 2.43. The aforementioned Eric Fetty, 4-7, 5.01, and not very highly thought of by the Braves radio broadcast crew. So,
oh man, that may be one of my favorite moments of the season. Is
I don't know how we didn't. You were driving. I don't know how you didn't drive off the road when they said that.
I guess the Braves had given up a couple of runs, and they were just like, don't worry about it. We'll get runs off this guy later.
Pish posh. Yeah, and sure enough.
they did.
So
that was the best part.
Wrong. Yeah. And the Braves are certainly warmed up for this thing. Again, won 8-4 last night, a 6-run eighth. Austin Riley with a 2-run homer and the aforementioned 4 bases loaded walks. Braves had been 0-6 in games that would have put them over 500 this season prior to last night. Edgar Santana with the win. Jack Peterson with an early 2-run homer for the Braves to keep them in it until the 8th inning heroics of Alex Reyes.
I wish, and I'm not, there it is. I want to go through this because we had talked about it earlier. This lineup, Ozzie Albies leading off. Jorge Soler, and then you've got Freddie. You've got Austin, who you just mentioned has been fantastic. Mm-hmm. Then it's Swanson. Mm-hmm. Over the last 15 games, Dansby Swanson is hitting .390 with 6 doubles, 4 homers, 16 ribbies, a 1.132 OPS. Only 2 strikeouts in the last 7 games after 49 in his previous 41 games.
One of those doubles I really feel like could have been a triple last night.
That last one? Yeah. Well, it wouldn't have mattered. He was going to walk home either way.
Either way.
He was no reason to run to third if you can trot, I guess.
Yeah. So here's the Washington starting lineup for tonight. Robles in center, Escobar at shortstop.
Okay.
Hernandez in left.
I don't know who that is, but okay.
Bell, I assume Josh, at first base. Carter Kieboom at third. Garcia at second base. Barrera.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, at catcher. Parra Geraldo Parra, his walk-up music is Baby Shark.
Yes.
At home. Yeah. And again, Eric Fetty starting on the mound. So, if you are familiar with more than 3 of those names, then congratulations, because we're not.
Right. It's this is the weirdest team I've ever encountered in Major League Baseball. And yet 1.5 games out. 1.5 games out of first place in the National League East. The Phillies and Mets played this weekend. I think they're on TV all 3 days, so you can watch them if you want to. I don't know why you would want to, but you can. Atlanta has an opportunity here to really give themselves a chance to blow this thing open. And they've only swept 2 series this year. One in May against the Washington Nationals. And then this past week with St. Louis.
Okay, so the Mets are in first place. The Phillies are a half game back. The Braves are a game and a half back.
Mm-hmm. And then you have the Nationals who are ahead of the Marlins, right?
Wait a minute. 2 games ahead of the Marlins. I'm trying to figure, can the Braves be in first place by Monday?
I don't think so. I think no matter what happens,
they're going to be behind one of those 2. If the Braves were to sweep
and Philly won
2 of 3,
they would be tied for the lead. Because the Braves would have won 1 extra game, and they're a game behind the Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, they could be in first, conceivably.
But not by themselves.
But not by themselves, which is still first place. It doesn't matter what it is. It's still first place.
It would be first place. And considering everything that has happened this season, it would be pretty astronomical.
Wouldn't it, though?
Yeah. So.
This team is wild, man. Give us this damn Braves history.
All right. On August 6, 1972, with the 660th and 661st career home runs. Guess who this is? Hank Aaron breaks Babe Ruth's record for most homers with one team. His second, a solo shot in the 10th, was the decisive blow in a 4-3 victory at Cincinnati.
Look at you. Home runs, the Braves win. Bet it didn't happen in the 80s.
Well, I'll tell you what, it didn't happen often.
It did not.
In the 70s.
70s and 80s were not times for the Braves to win much at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Despite how many home runs they hit, which was a bunch apparently.
It was.
Tonight, Sounds in Toledo.
Yeah, Sounds continue their series at First Horizon Park against the visiting Mud Hens. Sounds 47-34, Toledo 45-35 after last night's 12-0 Sounds shellacking.
Apparently, scoring runs in the 8th inning was the thing to do last night.
Yeah, apparently. They scored 10 in the 8th.
They said, hey, Braves, hold my beer.
Hold
or
my
whatever.
something. Yeah, whatever it is you're holding. Yeah, and your boy Bryce Terang, what, four
guy.
RBIs in the 8th?
Terang had 4 ribbies in 1 inning. Aaron Ashby, I told you yesterday that going to watch him was going to be worth the price of admission. He goes 6, strikes out 11, only gives up 1 hit in 60 pitches.
60 pitches, 48 strikes.
60 pitches in 6 innings. That's efficient.
That's is efficient.
Especially when you have 11 strikeouts, because that's 33 pitches right there.
And when you're throwing 4 strikes out of every 5 pitches, they call that filling up the strike zone. So
fill it up.
Yeah. His 7th double-digit strikeout performance, and he has 98 on the year. So 7th shutout of the year for the Sounds, and they will look to do that again tonight. 7:05. Alec Bettinger, 2-3 with a 2.76 ERA, goes to the bump for the home team. Pedro Payano, 2-3 with a 4.43 ERA for the Mud Hens.
Finally, before we get out of this segment, we got to talk a little bit about Ryan Weathers, because he does get the start tonight for San Diego, as they will be hosting the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's a 9:10 start Central Time. But the part that we need to mention here is I saw a stat earlier. Ryan Weathers has 7 pickoffs this year. 7.
The wily left-hander.
By himself. That's more than 22 Major League teams have combined. Just goes to show that it's gotten even better since his high school days.
It's gotten better since his high school days because I covered a game I think it was his senior year, junior year. They played at Hawkins Field down at Vanderbilt against Columbia Academy. He took a perfect game into the 7th. He retired the first 2 hitters, struck out the second one to get to within 1 out of the perfect game. Hits Will McCall, who's now playing for Freed Hardeman and coaching post-19 seniors. Hits Will McCall with 2 outs, first base runner for Columbia Academy. Picks him off to end the ball game before he throws a pitch.
Face the minimum.
Yeah.
Because he didn't even have to throw a pitch to the other guy.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And it's funny. I found the article from the game. Hang on. So McCall gets hit, goes first, gets picked off. After the game, Weathers said, I heard their coach yell, "Don't get picked off," so I figured I'd try.
Richie knew.
Well, and now major leaguers are finding out as well.
No doubt. Ryan Weathers.
Don't get picked off.
Don't get picked off. Just stay close to the back.
Yeah.
Stay close by.
Take that one-way lead.
That's right. Don't test Ryan Weathers. All right. Mo, the Braves are above 500. Sounds good to say.
It does.
Sounds good to say. I didn't think we were going to get there.
It'll sound better if we can still say it Monday.
After Kevin Smith's Despite Kevin Smith's best efforts, the Atlanta Braves are above 500.
So he comes up early in the game with the bases loaded. We're in the car together. It's like anything but a double play. What's he do? Hits into a double play. Comes up again. Jock Peterson's on first base. It's like
strike out. Just strike out, dude.
Just don't swing the bat. So instead, there's a ball that dribbles away from the catcher. Jock's thinking, okay, Kevin Smith's at the plate. I better get into scoring position. Gets thrown out. And then Smith hits a ground ball to second base. That would have been a double play anyway. So at least they pinch hit for him in that 8th inning.
That was the time you didn't really need to because dude couldn't find the plate.
Yeah, but if he had come up.
I think he'd just thrown 3 right down the middle because why not? Anyway. Yeah. So finally,
Travis d'Arnaud can't get back soon enough.
He can't. He cannot get back fast enough. All right, we got to get out of here. When we come back, Richland football. It's going to be a fun time to be had on the other side of the break. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Day presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stick around right after this.
One-stop shopping. That's why so many people shop Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat of Columbia. As the #1 volume CDJR dealer in Tennessee, we offer the largest selection of new Ram, Jeep, Dodge, and Chrysler vehicles. And when you have the largest selection of new, you have the largest selection of used, too. Combine that with state-of-the-art, fast, accurate service, and you've got Tennessee's #1 volume dealer. Shop online at Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram of Columbia.net. Middle Tennessee's Ram Truck and Jeep headquarters. You can count on us. Based on combined retail and fleet sales as reported by Chrysler in the state of Tennessee in 2019.
Hello, I'm Barbara Lincoln with Holland's Pharmacy. You may have heard our previous commercials about compression hosiery that we carry at Holland's Pharmacy. Well, we've recently expanded into a full line of knee braces, back, wrist, ankle, and other support wear. We will gladly help you get just the right fit for these items and, of course, special order items to ensure the proper fit. Come see us at Holland's Pharmacy, 1608 Hatcher Lane, or call us at 931-388-4233. 388-4233.
At Apex Bank, we care about our community and local economy. That's why we are proudly participating with the Small Business Administration to deliver another round of Paycheck Protection loans to local businesses that continue to be impacted by COVID-19. Our lenders will guide you through the process of securing funds for your business to meet obligations such as payroll, rent, and utilities. When properly utilized, these loans can be 100% forgiven. Call us at 931-246-7105 at Apex Bank. Apex Bank is building stronger communities together. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, I'm Tanya.
And I'm Paul.
We and our 4 wonderful children live in beautiful Spring Hill, Tennessee.
We are garage experts. We help people reclaim their garages and reorganize their stuff. We reinvent how people utilize their garages, store their stuff, and keep their toys.
Our vision is to honor the Lord, respect the people, and serve our beautiful community.
Visit us at garageexperts.com or give us a call at 615-934-1465 to find out how we can serve you.
Dreaming of a summer getaway? This month, Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical is giving away a free week-long vacation when you purchase a new whole home generator or select new HVAC systems, or get a free long weekend getaway when you buy a tankless water heater. Whether you like sandy beaches or mountain views, we've got a trip for you. And enjoy a $100 gas card to get you there. Visit happyhiller.com today. Happy you'll be, or the service is free.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Since 1982, the Jeweler's Bench has provided the highest quality jewelry at the very best prices. They work hard to make customers happy, and it's paid off. Their customers keep going back. Quality jewelry, custom vintage and estate pieces, and professional jewelry and watch repairs. We offer jewelry loans up to $4,500, and we will buy your gold. The Jeweler's Bench, still here, still the same. 808 Trotwood Avenue, Columbia.
Local sports talk you'll only find here. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yow.
Welcome back into Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, coming to you from the Lee Company studio. Thank you for hanging out with us here on this Friday edition of our show. Hour 2 coming up. We still have college football, pro football, and NASCAR, well, motorsports to talk about in hour number 2. But first, Mo, let's talk a little high school football. As we mentioned yesterday about Pickett County. Pickett County had to, or they didn't have to, but they decided to drop football because they didn't have enough players to really, much like our friends at Zion Christian.
Actually, I'd say with 12 players that were going through practice, they pretty well had to.
It was pretty much, I mean, in order to keep the kids safe, it had to be done. So that leaves a schedule of teams without a game. Well, it just so happens we know of another schedule of teams who are missing games.
Yep.
Turns out one team has already filled their open date. The team we're talking about in this segment, Richland, has filled their open date with FACS, the team out of Cordova. Is it?
Yeah, First Assembly.
First Assembly. So they'll take on Richland. Mount Pleasant
in week 2.
I think they're on either 10-1 or 9-24. One of those.
It's
two.
9-24. That's when they were open. Okay, so Richland is going to take their open date in week 2.
That's correct.
So they were supposed to play Zion in week 2. They're going to be open there instead, and then they're going to play September 24th against FACS.
Correct.
Where?
That's a good question. I didn't ask that. Well, it wasn't a continued conversation. I was telling him that the other team from Pickett County schedule was also open. He said, "Oh, well, we filled that with FACS." And I'm like, "Well, thanks for the heads up." But
Well, had I known that, I wouldn't have bothered you.
Right. But anyway, they will take that in week 2. So, but Mount Pleasant also looking to replace their Zion Christian game, which was on September 10th,
right,
with potentially Whitwell.
Yeah.
Who is also now looking for a game. So I texted Kit Hartsfield that yesterday. He goes, "I'm very interested." I said, "All right, there you go."
So not only does Chris DJ weddings, but he also plays matchmaker. So
I do quite a bit. This is much like we did last year. We were on the phone a lot with some teams who were looking for games last year.
Hey, so and so just dropped for COVID, so and so is available. Yeah, give them a shout. Yeah,
and it worked out for quite a few teams.
Yeah, we hooked some folks up.
One of the teams we hooked up this year, Richland. And Nick Patterson is going to have an interesting year as he loses Austin Seals, but instead of trying to replace him with a different running back, he just moves his quarterback to the backfield.
Hey, yeah, he had 2 quarterbacks and no running backs. So.
That's exactly what he did.
So, yeah, Sam Edwards, who was more effective probably running the ball than
certainly
perhaps he was throwing the ball from the quarterback position as a junior, will be the featured running back in the Raiders offense, and that leaves Bryce Miller to step in at quarterback.
I think this is a good move for them. I think Bryce Miller is going to give them a little bit more as a passing option, but a lot of that will be because of the threat of Sam Edwards as a running back. And to be honest, this is a team that is going to be predicated on the run game. So,
and I think, both those guys were too good to not be on the field.
Right. You can't, you
especially in 2A.
Right.
You can't have either of those two guys not having a consistent impact on your offense.
And here's the thing. As I spoke with Nick earlier when I did the story on our scrimmages where they defeated Huntland 35-14, scored 5 times in that Huntland scrimmage, held Huntland to 2 touchdowns, which is solid because, again, Sam is now not having to, it gives him a little bit more of an opportunity to learn more on the defensive side. He's a huge part of that defensive secondary.
Mm-hmm.
And so he will continue to be a huge part of that secondary for the Raiders. Depth is typically an issue at these smaller schools. Fortunately for Richland and Nick Patterson, they got a pretty large influx of freshmen this year who may not be able to give them immediate impact on the field week 1 or 2, provides a little bit of depth and some practice help, quite a bit of practice help actually. And he says he's got more depth than he's ever had in his tenure there. Obviously, he'd like to have a little more in some places. Probably the offensive and defensive lines is likely what he was talking about there.
Well, as we spoke to him heading into summer, offensive line was a place that he really felt good about because all 5 of his starters are returning. So anytime you can do that, particularly, again, at a smaller school like a Richland, when you can head into the season, they open again on August 19th, a Thursday night game at Cornersville. Seems they are open week 2. They start region play on September 3rd over at Summertown. Then they play back-to-back home games against Hickman County, Cascade. We don't know where the September 24th game is against FACS. They travel to Mount Pleasant on October 1st, looking for their second straight win at Mount Pleasant after beating the Tigers last year. Home games on October 8th and October 15th against Collinwood and Forest, the latter a region game. They finish up on the road at East Hickman and at Loretto. Again, the latter a region game.
It's going to be an interesting season. They're part of that 2A region that we've talked about is wide open, and they could certainly be right there in the mix coming up into those final few region games. So be looking forward to talking a little Richland football as the season continues. So
they've got they play Fayetteville in the Giles County Jamboree a week from tonight down at the Brickyard.
It's always a good time to go down to the Brickyard. Did they play? They scrimmaged earlier this week, right? Or is it tonight?
I think it's tonight. Did we mention them tonight?
You know what? I'm not sure.
They scrimmage at Moore County tonight.
At Moore County tonight. There you go. All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, college football. Plenty to talk about. Coaching news and conference commissioner extensions, as if you were surprised that Greg Sankey was going to get an extension. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Also, Titans, Josh Allen, NASCAR, Formula One, all of that coming up. Stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today returns to the Lee Company studio right after this.
People are fired up about masks. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Dozens chanting they won't comply with the New Jersey governor's new mandate requiring masks for everyone in K through 12 schools because of the surging Delta variant and so many unvaccinated kids. One child at that protest says masks make her feel sick, like she might pass out in class. White House spokeswoman Jen Psaki.
I will tell you from personal experience, my rising kindergartner told me 2 days ago she could wear a mask all day, and she's just happy to go to camp and go to school.
She accuses some Republican governors of putting politics over safety, not allowing schools to require masks. The Florida and Texas governors have accused the administration of hypocrisy over COVID-positive migrants being released at the southern border. Students with federal loans get one more extension of pandemic relief. The White House says the pause on loan repayments, interest, and default collections will now last until the end of January instead of September 30th. Attorneys for New York Governor Andrew Cuomo say he didn't get a fair shake from a civil probe of sexual harassment claims.
I'm a former federal prosecutor, and I know the difference between putting a case together against a target versus doing independent fact-finding with an open mind.
Attorney Rita Glavin, as Cuomo continues to resist calls to resign while state lawmakers prepare for impeachment proceedings. 2 Capitol riot suspects become the first to plead guilty to assaulting law enforcement officers. Federal prosecutors say New Jersey gym owner Scott Fairlamb was one of the first to breach the Capitol, part of a large crowd pushing through a line of officers. And Delvin Thompson of Seattle was part of a crowd in a tunnel throwing projectiles, including flagpoles. But both men could face years in prison. They are scheduled to be sentenced in September. America is listening to Fox News. Heartbreak in Illinois as 5 children are killed in a house fire.
They are blameless in this, and they're just kids, and it's tough.
George McClellan is the assistant fire chief in East St. Louis, Illinois, where the fire this morning remains under investigation. All of the children were younger than 10 and home alone. Their mother telling investigators she went to pick someone up from work and returned to a home in flames. California's Dixie Fire, now the largest wildfire in the country after exploding again overnight in hot and windy conditions. It's grown to more than 670 square miles, now just over a third contained after devastating the tiny gold rush era town of Greenville earlier this week. A big motorcycle rally returns in South Dakota.
It's a massive annual gathering in South Dakota's Black Hills that's back this week and expecting hundreds of thousands of bikers from across the country for the 81st iteration of the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, and amid concerns and politics surrounding COVID-19. The CDC saying the rally could be a super spreader event, though characteristics. South Dakota Governor Republican Republican Kristi Noem is citing state data, calls false. That as other states hold massive fairs and concerts like Chicago's recent Lollapalooza, where Democratic Mayor Lori Lightfoot also dismissed the characterization of the festival as being a super spreader event. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
What's better protection from COVID, being vaccinated or having natural immunity? The CDC releasing a new study that finds COVID survivors have twice the risk of getting reinfected if they're not vaccinated. This as the Delta variant continues its march across the country. A record day on Wall Street for both the Dow and the S&P. The Dow up 144, finishing at a new high, 35,208. And Lisa Brady, Fox News.
A lot of my friends basically went to work for the cartels right off the bat.
Ed Calderon spent his career confronting Mexico's ruthless drug cartels face to face.
Nightly raids on different houses and places where people were suspected of storing drugs.
The former paramilitary law enforcement officer was born and raised in what he calls one of the most heavily trafficked cities on the planet, Tijuana.
The vehicle carrying this man, the assistant chief of Tijuana's municipal police, sits riddled with bullets.
He was found probably 12 hours later with his ID screwed into his forehead, tortured to death, basically. It scared the out of all of us.
Ed acquired a set of unique survival skills that has earned him the nickname the Sneak Reaper. A bag of tricks that make special operators nervous and maybe even a little jealous.
In exactly 2 minutes, I'm going to start putting more restraints on you. Hurry the up!
One of his more signature strengths is teaching people how to avoid being kidnapped or how to increase your odds if you aren't as lucky.
Everybody's capable of being dangerous at any time, even if they're handcuffed, even if they're bound. What makes you dangerous is your nature.
In The Alchemy of Violence, Narcos, Reapers, and Survival, Ed talks about facing the real Grim Reaper.
We were being targeted. People had eyes on us.
And explains how his brushes with true violence have changed him and how he's used that alchemy to find and help others.
Listen to the complete season of Alchemy of Violence on Fox News Podcast Plus starting July 12th. Fox News Podcast Plus is our new subscriber-based offering without commercials. Includes bonus content and exclusive shows like this one, exclusively on Apple Podcasts. Visit foxnewspodcast.com.
To the two-tone blue, covering the teams you care about. It's only on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yow.
Welcome back in to Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yow, Mo Patton, JP Plant, coming to you from the Lee Company studio in our new studio digs. If you are watching on Facebook, YouTube, sm-tnsports.com, or Twitter, you notice that we're not in the same house we used to be in. It was a house.
It was a house, yeah.
At some point.
You kind of lost sight of that. But yeah, it was a house.
Yeah, I lost sight of it until my niece asked my dad, is that Chris's house?
It's a house. It's not Chris's house.
Oh, no.
And what's ironic is, for months now, we were airing from the office formerly known as Dan James' office.
And now
we're broadcasting from the home currently known as Dan James's home. So
it's so funny.
Yeah. Appreciate Dan for his hospitality. Right down to the bottled water.
I mean, yeah, it's a fluid situation.
We've just come in and basically taken the man's house over.
I'm going to take T. Willie's jokes away from him because all of mine are worse than his.
Yeah, well, you know, that dad joke thing, you're really embracing that.
I really
apparently,
am.
so.
I am a dad joke fanatic. So
Before we get any further into this segment, we need to mention that this segment is sponsored by Fast Stop. This is a Fast Stop Friday.
It's Fast Stop Friday. And here's the cool thing about Fast Stop. I don't know. You guys did not have it last week, right?
No.
But I did. I got a chance to try the Nitro Cold Brew coffee. And maybe you've tried cold brew. Maybe you haven't. If you've not, you should. But here's a little twist. They're going to give it to you on tap at Fast Stop, okay? So when it comes to that tap, it's actually got a little carbonation in there. So it's
is that where the nitro comes from?
It's an infusion of nitrogen bubbles. Okay. Puts it into your cold brew. So you're going to get coffee, but it's going to taste a little carbonated too.
Carbonated coffee.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm here to tell you a little couple dashes of caramel flavoring.
Because he's a diva.
And you're in the game. It was delicious. I didn't even need sugar. I mean, it was just a couple of dashes of caramel and we were good. Good stuff.
You know what caramel is, right?
I understand. But most people, like a lot of people will put sugar in, but never put sugar in cold brew coffee. It's a bad idea. Trust me. Because it just doesn't melt. It just becomes, you just eat sugar is what you end up doing.
It just gets suspended, yeah. Okay.
You end up just eating sugar.
Well, especially in cold coffee.
Right.
I would imagine.
Don't put it in cold coffee. Just don't do it. It's a bad idea.
Speaking firsthand.
I've done it, yes. I was like, just not thinking. I want an iced coffee with two creams, 2 sugars. And then I drink it, and I'm like, why is it chewy? Why is it crunchy? What is going on right now? You don't have to worry about that. With the Nitro Cold Brew, you just it might be a little fizzy. It's not gonna be chewy or crunchy. So whatever flavor creamer you like, throw it in there. So Nitro Cold Brew, you can get it at any Fast Stop location. Tons of Fast Stop locations in our listing area. You've got White Bluff, Dixon, Spring Hill, Lawrenceburg, Centerville, and I think there's like a bunch of locations in Columbia, like 10 maybe. I don't know. It's a bunch.
It's in Lawrenceburg too, right?
Yeah. I think I said Lawrenceburg. Maybe I didn't. I don't know.
It's okay. We'll say it twice.
We will.
Because we've got the Lawrenceburg native, the pride of Lawrenceburg.
The pride.
Running the board for us.
Lawrenceburg, Tennessee.
Jonathan Paul over here.
Pride's a reach, but I'll take it. I was Mr. Laco High my senior year.
Mr. what?
Laco High.
Laco High, Lawrence County High School.
I've never heard that term.
Yeah.
I've heard LCHS. I've never heard Laco High.
Yep.
So when in
I guess that's a native thing. That's what y'all call it down there.
Laco High.
Laco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually how I used to abbreviate Lawrence County High School from Alabama was LAWCO.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but it's
well, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk a little college football. What do you say?
Let's do.
I'll tell you, we were the least bit surprised to find out that Greg Sankey has been extended through, ironically, 2026, which is the first year that Oklahoma and Texas will be in the SEC.
And then I think he'll probably get extended again.
Probably.
Yeah, if he wants to be.
If he wants to be, you're right.
I think the question is, was that extension, was the amount just blank in there, or are they just letting him fill that in
you know
at this
what?
point?
Just here's a check, whatever you need. Feel free.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Yeah, because
old pal.
You've earned it.
You know, the SEC, going back to Roy Kramer, And once when he expanded into 12 teams and created the SEC championship game, they've had a great run of commissioners.
Roy Kramer, Mike Slav, Greg Sankey.
I mean, Mike Slav, coming from Conference USA, a lot of folks were very uppity about that.
Yeah, very. Yeah, that was definitely a questionable move at the time it took place. It was not a questionable move by the time he left.
When Mike Slav left, Greg Sankey just kind of rolled right in and said, "Well, hold my beer."
Yeah.
And
Greg's a runner, so it might have been hold my bottled water.
It probably was. Yeah, but I mean, it just feels like this conference has done nothing but succeed over the last 3 decades.
It's like get with us or get run over by us. Just about. I mean,
don't stand on the tracks when the train's coming through.
Yeah. And you know, when we say stuff like that, I know it kind of sounds like SEC bias and that kind of thing, but if it's the truth, it ain't sinning.
That's the thing. There is such thing as SEC bias in a way, but in the grand scheme,
there's some things that are just undeniable.
Right. You can't deny that the Southeastern Conference is the premier college football conference in the country, not only on the field.
I'm not even sure if it's just the premier college football conference.
As far as money is concerned, it's the premier conference in college athletics, period.
Right.
It's mostly driven by college football, and they win more championships in college football than anyone else does. And college baseball.
It's driven by college football, and it's driven by college football to the point that even some of its fans tend to neglect that there are other sports. But, I mean, again, look at the Women's College World Series. Look at the College World Series. You look at the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournaments.
Gymnastics is dominated by the Southeastern Conference.
You know, track and field.
Track and field, outside of MTSU's steeplechase winner.
Yeah, Keegan
Chamati. Yeah. But seriously, I mean, it just feels like this conference dominates in sports, and that's why the money flows.
I mean, even look at the Olympics that are going on, the number of SEC products that have been successful on the international stage. So,
yeah, including Auburn gymnast Suhi
Sunisi Lee.
Sunisa Lee.
Yeah.
I couldn't, but yeah, she's going to be, talk about NIL. That girl's going to be making bukoodles. She will make way more than that 37.5 she got for a gold medal. Did you know that a gold medal in the United States, if you win one, you are paid $37,500 per gold medal that you win?
By the government?
Yes.
It's a good gig.
I mean, you got to work 4 years to get that 1 year salary.
Well, that's good. That's a nice thank you for your service to the country.
I agree, but I don't. It's not as nice as some other countries.
Yeah,
there are some places where you get paid a stipend for life.
There is one place that you get a stipend for life. I think that's in Taiwan,
Malaysia,
something like that. Now, granted, some of those countries that, Singapore pays like $1 million. $1 million. If you win a gold medal for Singapore, if you win a bronze medal, you're getting $250.
Of course, it does kind of raise a question: how many medalists has Singapore had?
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's the thing that you have to go at now. The prize for an individual gold medal in Taiwan, or Taipei, as it's known at the Olympics, weightlifter Kwao Sing Chun.
Nice effort.
Something like that.
At least you tried.
She won gold in weightlifting, and she got paid $27,000 million new Taiwan dollars, which equates
New
to
as opposed to old Taiwan dollars?
well, it's Chinese Taipei now. You know,
Okay.
Taiwan is now a Chinese
Gotcha.
whatever.
I'm not so sure I
That was
want
nice
a new
of them.
Taiwan dollar. I think I want the old Taiwan
Still
dollar.
$716K. $716,000.
It's a good gig.
That's not bad.
You know, but it's an interesting concept because, you know, most of these other countries don't have the opportunities for the sponsorship that those U.S. athletes have. So, I mean, I
Indonesia,
get that. That's not a surprise.
5 billion Indonesian rupiah, which is equal to $346,000.
Okay.
5 billion.
5 billion.
Try to do that. If you're going to Indonesia, make sure you got $1 billion with you.
Good Lord. Wow.
It's interesting though. Anyway, I just thought that was unique. But she's going to make plenty more. Sunisa Lee is going to make plenty more while she is tumbling for the Gym Tigers or whatever they're called.
I still think 37.5 probably goes a pretty far way on the loveliest village
Especially,
on the plains.
well, especially if you have, if you're probably isn't. She's likely very intelligent, so probably got some scholarship money on top of everything else.
And I'm betting that gymnastics scholarships aren't fools.
Right. So, problem with Sunisa here is she has to pay taxes on that 37.5. It's taxpayer dollars. Okay, the taxpayers have paid it, and then she's got to pay some of it back. Now, ain't that something?
That is something. That
ain't right.
That's trash
Chris,
can juice.
That's trash can juice.
That is trash can juice. They're giving me $37,500 for winning a gold medal, but I got to pay taxes on it.
That ain't right.
Come on.
Like I said, Chris Rock and Head of State. That ain't right.
That ain't.
Somebody say that ain't right.
Come on, man.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
trash can juice.
Anyway, to get back to this college football.
College football.
Terry Bowden is stepping aside, not stepping down, at Louisiana Monroe to help tend to his ailing father. We spoke on these airwaves a few weeks ago about former Florida State coach Bobby Bowden has a terminal pancreatic cancer, as it turns out. But so Terry is heading to Tallahassee, leaving the Warhawks program in the able hands of interim head coach Rich Rodriguez.
There's an Alabama joke in there somewhere with Bowden and Rich Rod. There really is. It's in there somewhere. I don't know where it's at, but there's one in there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Rich Rodriguez has been an offensive coordinator.
He was an offensive. Well, he first came to prominence, I guess, as an offensive coordinator for Terry's brother Tommy.
That's right.
At Clemson. That's where you first started to hear about Rich Rod. In fact, Rich Rodriguez interviewed for the MTSU job when Boots Donnelly left.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah. And they hired Andy McCollum, who was a former MTSU assistant. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying is that Rich Rodriguez interviewed for that job.
And then he went to West Virginia and
well, first I think he went to. Did he go to Tulane I think he went to Tulane. There's a Tulane something in there somewhere. I think Tommy came from Tulane to Clemson.
he did come from Tulane to Clemson. So
Okay,
he was at Tulane, then Clemson, then West Virginia.
Right.
He was there for 6 years. I guess that was the Pat Smith era.
I believe so.
And we know what they did there. And then he was
Pat Smith and Steve Slayton.
Steve Slayton was or Pat White. Not Smith.
Right.
Pat White from the Gulf. He played it. He's from Alabama in the Mobile area.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the only reason I remember Pat, because he didn't go to Alabama. And a lot of people were very upset about that.
And even more so once he got
Once
there.
he got to West Virginia, they saw what he could do. Yeah. Then he was at Michigan. Obviously, that was a dumpster fire. He was at Arizona for a while. Then he came to Ole Miss, where he was an offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. He was there in 2019. So, and then 2021, now he is now the assistant head coach, interim head coach, offensive coordinator, quarterback coach for
for the Warhawks.
The Warhawks.
Yeah. So that's news worth knowing, as they will be playing. They open September 4th at Kentucky, and
that's going to be an interesting game. I will be interested to watch that just for no other reason than Louisiana Monroe typically gives SEC teams a tough out. They're a tough out for SEC schools. I was at the Auburn game when they took them to overtime. I was covering that game.
Yeah, I'm sure that went well.
Yeah, it was not great in the Auburn press box. We'll just say that. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, there you have it. Terry Bowden stepping aside, going to help tend to his father, Bobby. Rich Rod takes over the Warhawk program, at least for temporarily.
Yeah.
And Greg Sankey extended through 2026, and Sunisa Lee is getting $37,500 and plenty of money in NIL, I'm sure.
Yo, Greg, let me highlight.
let me hold on.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're talking Titans. Josh Allen getting a little contract. Speaking of let me hold 100.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Josh Allen's new contract, all that and more on the other side of the breaks. Other Middle Tennessee Sports Day returns to the Lee Company studio right after this.
Parks Motor Sales in Columbia has a large assortment of quality new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, a trusted sales staff, and financing plans that fit any budget. Visit Parks once and you'll quickly discover why people all over Middle Tennessee have been buying vehicles there for more than 60 years. And factory-certified technicians can service and repair your vehicle as long as you own it. Go to parksmotorsales.com or stop by the lot at 919 Nashville Highway and take a test drive today.
Are you thinking about a new fence? Maybe you need a pole barn. Then you should give Sands Fence Company a call. That's 931-309-1644. Will Sands has built his business based on the principles of honesty, quality, and integrity. Sands Fence Company has been in business for over 20 years, providing the community with farm, residential, and commercial fencing, as well as pole barns and buildings. Call today for a free estimate. Sands Fence Company, 931-309-1644. 931-309-1644.
Hi, I'm Steve, the garbage man. Have you been hauling your own garbage to the convenience center? Are you tired of doing it? Does your work schedule keep you from hauling it off regularly? Is your teenage son not taking it off like he promised when he got his driver's license? Do you have something better to do on Saturday? If any of these questions strike home to you, call the garbage man at 931-540-0919 and your problem will be solved.
Are you looking for a hometown jeweler? Maybe you're new to Murray County or have been traveling 30 miles or more to have your jewelry cared for. Well, you no longer have to. Hello, this is Rick Tillis of Tillis Jewelry right here in Columbia. We're located at 105 West 7th Street in downtown Columbia. We have a full-service repair shop that can repair your jewelry no matter where you purchased it. That's right, we work on all jewelry, even if you just need it cleaned and inspected. That is a service that is always free of charge and done while you wait in our beautiful store. Come see me at Tillis Jewelry. You will be glad you did.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that actually matter, like the drywall that somehow isn't. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Call Davis Heating and Cooling at 931-388-2090. Davis Heating and Cooling is your local American Standard dealer and proudly serves the Murray County area. Find Davis Heating and Cooling online and on Facebook or call today, 388-2090.
For 40 years, Beck Dental Care has been the personalized and comfortable option for the health of your smile. The caring staff maintains a high level of safety protocols and attention to detail. Advanced technology provides your choice of sedation and the best of dental implant solutions to restore complete oral health. Open until 7 p.m. 2 nights a week. 931-388-8452. Beck Dental Care in Columbia, 1603 Rosewood Drive.
Blue Raiders to the two-tone blue, covering the teams you care about. It's only on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yow.
Welcome back into Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Coming to you live from the Lee Company studio, as a matter of fact, in the currently known as Dan Jane's office. Happy to have you guys along with us as we approach the bottom of hour number 2 in this 2-hour show. I have to remind myself that it's a 2-hour show so that you guys don't get worried about that third hour that I mysteriously added last week during Fast Stop Friday.
Yeah.
Of all the days I could have added a third hour, Friday was not the day to do it. Friday,
yeah, but after you'd had that nitro, though, you might have been ready to go for a third
I probably
hour.
could have. There's no question there.
Us, not so much.
Well, that's because you had lemonade. That was your choice.
It was. It was.
Need to talk a little Tennessee Titans here, and I want to go through a little bit about what happened today. First things first is that Bud Dupree was activated off the PUP list, and he did take part in some individual drills. He worked out with Vrabel in between reps. He was on the field for 7-on-7. This is good news.
Oh, yeah.
We have to have Bud Dupree.
Oh, no question. Yeah. That's and I think that the performance of that defensive unit last year is the reason that so many people fail to take this team seriously heading into this season. And adding Bud Dupree over the offseason was one of the key additions to improving that unit's performance. And so, getting him on the field is crucial, I think.
No question there. Harold Landry and Josh Reynolds returned. Julio did not. I don't think you're going to see Julio much.
And I'm okay with that.
Fine. Perfectly fine. I mean, get out. Maybe just keep your legs.
Bro, go get your house set up.
Yeah.
Get your car tuned up, whatever you need to do. We'll see you Labor Day weekend.
Sure.
I'm good.
Perfectly fine with that.
I don't think there is a thing that Julio Jones can prove in the preseason.
No, I don't think he needs to prove anything. I do think he probably needs to get his legs back.
Well, he probably needs to get his legs back. He and Tannehill probably need to get some timing down and that kind of thing. But
you don't need to be out here doing much else.
No.
Run your route tree again and run it at full speed as best you can, that sort of thing. But that's pretty much it. Like you said, timing is really all that's necessary. Taylor Lewan and Tyson Brelo both left practice to get some work on the bike. I think that's just because they were probably getting ready for 7-on-7s and nothing major there. The kicking competition, Jesus. We're going to need him.
Did you see where James Wilhoit was hired as kicking coach earlier this week?
I did see that.
James Wilhoit, who kicked at Hendersonville High School, went on and kicked for University of Tennessee.
Including one of the biggest kicks in Tennessee history, in my opinion. I mean, after missing an extra point, gets the redemption later.
Yeah.
Start celebrating as soon as he kicked it.
They knew it was good.
I mean, it was incredible.
Striped it.
To watch the kicker start celebrating as soon as he kicks it against your biggest rival, worth it.
Yep.
It was worth the missed extra point. Almost.
Yeah. Well, never mind that had he hit the extra point, it probably wouldn't have come down to that. But anyway.
At all. But, yes, he is helping out Tucker McCann and Sam Ficken. They both kicked from 29, 40, 44, 33, 33, and 54 today. All of them were made except for Ficken's 44-yarder. He missed that one, but everything else went through the uprights, folks.
Ficken's kicking, huh?
Ficken is kicking. And kicking well, apparently. but apparently not as good as
McCann.
Yes, his counterpart, Tucker McCann. So Caleb Farley took part in 7-on-7 today. That's big news.
That's huge news. Because count me among those that really struggle with that draft pick, given his health situation.
Yes.
And so if he's able to contribute, the earlier the better. But if he's able to contribute at the level that a first-round pick would indicate, then that's another positive for that defense as it tries to just not be mediocre.
Tannehill threw a touchdown to Ferkser. Byard was in coverage.
I think you're going to see that a lot.
Yeah, with Kevin Byard was in coverage, and he kind of just threw it up and let Ferkser go get it, and they kind of fought for it. But, of course, Ferkser against Byard, you expect the tight end to win that one every time, and he did. So that's positive news. You are going to see a lot of that, I think.
And I think that's one of those things where it's tough to measure. I mean, do you congratulate Ferkser? Are you disappointed in Byard? I mean, how does that I don't think
you can be disappointed in Byard for losing a ball fight with a tight end. You just can't be mad. I mean, a guy like Ferkser, he outweighs him a good 40 pounds.
You would think.
So, you can't be mad. You got to be happy that he was close enough to fight for the ball.
Yeah.
He was in good position. Mm-hmm. He's just unable to make the play all the way through, and it's going to happen in the NFL.
Right.
I mean, the other guy's getting paid too. So there you go. Cam Batson apparently connected on a 30-yard play with Tannehill during a 2-minute team period. And Christian Fulton broke up a pass to A.J. Brown in that same period, which ended up being an interception. Apparently, Tannehill's thrown a bunch of interceptions in training camp.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of folks are, this is not good. He's throwing interceptions. Well, that's what training camp's for. It's just like spring training when a guy's trying to, maybe sure up a curveball or a new pitch or a changeup or something like that. It's going to get hit sometimes. So this is very similar. I don't expect this to be anything unusual. I don't think this is a sign of things to come. I think it's simply just Ryan Tannehill is trying to do things that he wouldn't normally do in games to see what he's capable of, push the limit.
And maybe it's a sign that the defense is getting better.
And maybe it's yes, there is that. I mean, if there are tighter windows to throw into, that means the defensive secondary is better than normal, better than they have been. So that's good. I mean, that's what it is. So excited to see this team get on the field for some preseason games. I'll be excited to see Bud Dupree out there, at least trying to get a little work early. You're not going to see a lot of that, but preseason game against the Falcons, you certainly hope you at least see Julio for a minute in that opener.
You would think.
And hopefully he just gets a fly route to start it.
Yeah.
Then sits down.
Yeah, takes it to the house and then just keeps running.
And just goes in, takes his jersey off, and
runs right up the tunnel. a la Bo Jackson at the Kingdome. Yep. Just keep running.
Just keep going. Take your jersey off, take your pads off, come out in your street clothes. Been a good day.
Yeah.
It's a good day, Tater. Other NFL news that we want to get to, Josh Allen, contract extension, and they are paying the man.
Yeah.
For whatever reason they are, but they are.
Well, as we said during the break, I think when you've had the type quarterback play that Buffalo has had in the past and you get one that you think is the guy,
make sure he stays.
Yeah.
You either got to pay him or move to Austin because ain't nobody staying in Buffalo for nothing.
Yeah. So 6 years, $258.
I mean, Make that
150
money.
of which is guaranteed.
150 guaranteed $1 million.
If he doesn't play another down, he's got 150 mil.
He won. Give him his money.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm interested to see what happens next. You know, I mean, you can't think that New England is going to continue to stay down. The Jets are pushing all their chips to the middle of the table with Zach Wilson. I don't get it, but you know what?
The quarterback play in that division is putrid.
That's what I was just thinking. You know,
Putrid.
Zach Wilson, whoever it is in Miami, whether it's Fitzmagic or Tua.
Fitzmagic isn't there. Fitzmagic is in
Where is he?
Tampa. I think he's in Tampa. It's Tua. Tua's the guy. They're going with Tua. They're putting all of it in on Tua.
So they're all in on Tua. The Jets are all in on Wilson.
Well, it's not. Listen, every other time we've said, "Oh, they've got Sanchez." Well, you know, they got Geno. They got, and now we're like, "Yeah, they got Wilson." Well, you know what? Same thing is probably said about Tony Romo. So, I'm just saying, you never know.
Yeah, like you said, the quarterback play in that division is not great.
Let's just say it's unproven. Outside of what Cam did, and Cam's not the same since he got hurt.
Yeah.
Even if they go with, and they're going to go with Cam from what I understand, even if they do go to Mac Jones at some point, it's unproven everywhere. Except Buffalo. So pay the man. I don't hate it.
Well, I mean, it's not my money.
And it's not my team, so I don't.
Yeah, right.
I don't care.
Yeah,
I mean, if we were going to give Ryan Tannehill a 6-year contract for $268 million, I'd probably say, or whatever. I mean, I'd probably say, what's $10 million? We're talking about $250. Come on, man.
That's fair.
What's $10 million among friends? I would probably bat an eye, but I would say, well, he's probably been worth it as long as we can keep Derrick Henry for $258 million in 6 years too.
And that may be one reason, because they don't necessarily have
anybody else.
That.
Yeah, they don't have anybody else.
Yeah. So, and as you mentioned, it's not your team.
It's not.
Your team does see the $258 million man in Week 6 on Monday night.
Well, you knew that was coming. After the stiff arm, which I have seen a gazillion times this offseason.
And you're going to see it a gazillion more leading up to that ball game on October 18th. Is Josh Norman still with the Bills?
Dude, Josh Norman, I feel bad for because he's a really good cornerback. I mean, he is good. He is currently a free agent. But if you Google him, the first picture you see is
the first picture. Is there any other picture?
It appears as if he's given the people's elbow to the 15-yard line. I mean,
yeah, I think that's the way I would try to play it off too. That's awful. Seriously, it's twice in the first 8 images that you find of him from different angles.
It's unfortunate.
One with Derrick Henry facing the camera and one with his back to the camera. Yeah.
Just throwing folks.
It's what he do.
I mean, once his football career is over, he definitely has a future as a sports entertainment wrestler. Right?
Or as a bouncer.
Or as Will Smith's uncle in a reboot of Fresh Prince, where he just throws jazz out. Anyway, got to go to the 90s pop culture references there. All right, we do need to take a break, though, because when we come back, we got to talk to T. Willie and talk a little NASCAR and big event coming up in Nash Vegas, the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix coming at you, and some exciting news. Good news from the history books in the NASCAR world, so stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Day returns right after this.
One-stop shopping. That's why so many people shop Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat of Columbia. As the #1 volume CDJR dealer in Tennessee, we offer the largest selection of new Ram, Jeep, Dodge, and Chrysler vehicles. And when you have the largest selection of new, you have the largest selection of used, too. Combine that with state-of-the-art, fast, accurate service, and you've got Tennessee's #1 volume dealer. Shop online at Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram of Columbia.net. Middle Tennessee's Ram Truck and Jeep headquarters. You can count on us. Based on combined retail and fleet sales as reported by Chrysler in the state of Tennessee in 2019.
Hello, I'm Barbara Lincoln with Holland's Pharmacy. You may have heard our previous commercials about compression hosiery that we carry at Holland's Pharmacy. Well, we've recently expanded into a full line of knee braces, back, wrist, ankle, and other support wear. We will gladly help you get just the right fit for these items and, of course, special order items to ensure the proper fit. Come see us at Holland's Pharmacy, 1608 Hatcher Lane, or call us at 931-388-4233. 388-4233.
At Apex Bank, we care about our community and local economy. That's why we are proudly participating with the Small Business Administration to deliver another round of Paycheck Protection Loans to local businesses that continue to be impacted by COVID-19. Our lenders will guide you through the process of securing funds for your business to meet obligations such as payroll, rent, and utilities. When properly utilized, these loans can be 100% forgiven. Call us at 931-246-7105 at Apex Bank. Apex Bank is building stronger communities together. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, I'm Tanya.
And I'm Paul.
We and our 4 wonderful children live in beautiful Spring Hill, Tennessee.
We are garage experts. We help people reclaim their garages and reorganize their stuff. We reinvent how people utilize their garages, store their stuff, and keep their toys.
Our vision is to honor the Lord, respect the people, and serve our beautiful community.
Visit us at garageexperts.com or give us a call at 615-934-1465 to find out how we can serve you.
Dreaming of a summer getaway? This month, Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical is giving away a free week-long vacation when you purchase a new whole home generator or select new HVAC systems, or get a free long weekend getaway when you buy a tankless water heater. Whether you like sandy beaches or mountain views, we've got a trip for you. And enjoy a $100 gas card to get you there. Visit happyhiller.com today. Happy you'll be, or the service is free.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Since 1982, the Jeweler's Bench has provided the highest quality jewelry at the very best prices. They work hard to make customers happy, and it's paid off. Their customers keep going back. Quality jewelry, custom vintage and estate pieces, and professional jewelry and watch repairs. We offer jewelry loans up to $4,500, and we will buy your gold. The Jeweler's Bench, still here, still the same. 808 Trotwood Avenue, Columbia.
Sports talk show you've always wanted. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. From preps to pros. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yow.
Welcome back into this final segment of Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. So happy that you have chosen to join us for the final segment of hour number 2 on this Friday. So excited as we get ready to take you into the weekend. Wanted to mention this before we get into. The Diamondbacks posted this on their Twitter. It says, automatic reply, this weekend series. Hi, D-backs fans. We are currently out of the office. We are in San Diego as the D-backs are hosting all employees for the team series against the Padres. We'll be taking a break on social media to spend time with our fellow team players and just be fans for a few days. Don't panic. We'll be back on Monday. If you need anything in the meantime, feel free to reach out to our bosses at MLB. So that's pretty cool.
Field trip.
Yeah, I mean, and what better place to do it than San Diego?
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Good for you, D-backs.
And it gives them an opportunity to see a good team.
They need all the help they can. They need all the help they can get to see one of those. We are in our final segment, like I said, and as we typically do on Friday around this time, we get a chance to talk to resident NASCAR guru and all things motorsports fan, Terry Wilcox, joining us now. Terry, what's going on?
Oh, I tell you, this weekend is awesome. Nashville's got a lot going on. Do you want to hit the NASCAR first?
Yeah, let's talk a little NASCAR because it just so happens that we learned today, or yesterday, I'm sorry, that Nashville will host once again the awards. Is that the awards banquet or whatever?
Yeah. That's the championship banquet held in December. 2 years ago, it was in Nashville. It was a tremendous success. They had the cars on Broadway doing burnout and stuff. So that was pretty cool. Last year, with everything going on, they just did a virtual one, so it wasn't really anywhere. But they're going to be back again this year in Nashville, and I think they're going to be in Nashville quite a bit in the next few years, if you get my drift. So, news come out this week that they're still talking about the fairgrounds, and it's looking better. It will not happen next year, too early, but they're shooting for 23, and they're shooting for all three series at the fairgrounds. So, and they got real good feeling that it's probably going to happen.
I certainly think it's going to. The only difference being that the traffic situation in that area is certainly not any better than the super speedway, and if they're going to increase capacity, I don't think they can go as far as they really want to go or think they should go. I think they've got to scale that down to around 30 at the top end.
30,000 is what they're looking at for seating capacity, but whatever it is, it'll sell out. The last two races they held there in '84, in all the last 2 years back there, they sold out even back then. So, and I think it was that Larry Woody ran a piece this week about being able to support two cup races, if you will, in Nashville. And they said absolutely no problem. You got two totally different tracks. You got a half-mile track with the beating and bang, and then you got the super speedway. So if they spread them out far enough, like one early in the year, one later in the year, they'll sell them. They'll sell them both out like they did this year. So, but all the cars are in. They're in Watkins Glen this weekend. The trucks and Xfinity run tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We'll be broadcast. We'll be on the air starting at 11 with a little bit of pre-race, and then the Cup guys go off Sunday. I believe start time will be 2 p.m. We'll be on the air at 1. I'll be on the air at 12:30 with my pre-race show, like I always do. And that's kind of NASCAR. But there's bigger news, the way I look at it right now. This Sunday, Nashville's going to host the Music City Grand Prix. First time.
The big machine.
The big machine. You got to get what's his name's record label.
Borchetta.
Scott Borchetta, who was a track champion at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway at one point. Good racer, great. He's a great person to have on board in that group, and Dale Jr. is part of that conglomerate, if you will, too. So, but yeah, we're going to be on the air probably at 4:00. The race is supposed to do driver start your engines at 4:30. Green flag scheduled for 4:45. We will be on 103.7. And I will be broadcasting it from the station like we always do. But however, our owner-operator, Mr. Del Kennedy, will be the man on the street. He's going to be actually the man on the rooftop.
I hope he's not going to be on the street.
He's going to be calling in and giving us periodic updates on what he's seeing. But there's actually a total of 6 races this weekend. You got one early on Saturday. You got 2 more on Saturday, and then you're going to have some early Sunday before the big one. So there's a lot of racing going to go on. It's a little over, it's 2.17 miles. And there's a lot of concerts going on down there. Now, the concert on Friday has me concerned. Here's the 4 people: Brooks and Dunn, Jamie Johnson, Tyler Farr, who are all country acts, right? Then Vince Neil. What's wrong with that picture?
Yeah, Vince doesn't fit very much.
One of these things is not like the others, huh?
We do love Tyler Farr, Chapel Hill resident Tyler Farr.
Chris Yow.
Chris Yow lookalike Tyler Farr.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big fan. So let me just ask you this: Colton Herta with almost hit 99 miles an hour on the track during his first practice, and he was the fastest car, nearly 99. Can you imagine going over that bridge at 99, Mo?
No.
Woo.
No. Not without something chasing me anyway.
That'd be something.
And then slamming on the brake, so you can turn. Yeah, it's 80 laps, so it's going to be interesting. Jimmy Johnson will be racing, as you all know. He does the road courses on the IndyCar Series this year. Next year he wants to do both. So Scott Dixon, who would be in the race, the last 3 races that were out the Super Speedway in 06, 7, and 8, he won all 3 of them.
Well, so, he was the second fastest car in the first practice with a lap time of 1:16.9653. So he is right there with Colton Herta as the top top time leader.
Road course and oval are totally different. So, but he's a great driver. He always has been. But it's going to be exciting. I'll tell you. I think Nashville. They said it's already a lot of people downtown because there's some practices and stuff going on today, along with that concert later. So,
I heard. Elio Castroneves was going to have he was going to be pulling behind him a wagon full of bachelorettes down Broadway. I'm kidding.
Elio is one of the nicest, funniest, coolest people you'll ever meet. We got to spend time with him at the Super Speedway when they were out there. I used to work at the media center, and the way you see him on TV, that's the way he is. He's not, he's just a friendly guy. I mean, they got some really good people in that sport. They probably also got some jerks, but you also got some local people, like you said, running in it. So it's going to be interesting. I tell you, to me, I'm almost thinking, man, I'd love to see NASCAR run that course. What do you think?
Speaking of NASCAR, Terry, want to touch on this before we let you go. NASCAR, it's been announced, our friend Heather Williams up at WCYB TV up in the Tri-Cities has an article. Mm-hmm. Apparently, Wendell Scott's family is going to receive his trophy from his 1963 NASCAR Grand National Series victory at Jacksonville, 58 years after the fact.
Long overdue. Long overdue. That should have happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
But,
Hall of Famer Wendell Scott finally being recognized for his single NASCAR Grand National victory. That's going to take place at the Coke 0400 on August 28th at Daytona. So that's
pretty cool.
It's very cool, but it's bittersweet because, like Terry said, and like everybody else is saying, it's long overdue.
Absolutely. The NASCAR trying to basically, right a wrong that happened years ago. Hopefully they keep that attitude going forward. There's room in the sport for everybody. Doesn't matter what you look like, where you came from. Doesn't even matter if you use a men or women's bathroom. It doesn't matter. We got some good young girls coming up.
I was going to mention that Haley Deegan said she's going to run some Xfinity next year.
Yep, she's going to run. She's planning to run a full truck series and some Xfinity, and their eyes are always on the Cup Series. That's where you go. If you're a major league, if you're a minor league baseball player, you want to get to the major leagues. It's the same thing in NASCAR. Also, Saturday night at the Fairground Speedway, the fastest cars you'll see there ever, the Winged Sprint Outlaws, will be there.
That's always a blast.
They hold the record at that track for fastest speed. So a lot of stuff. Nashville is just with all the other sports going on.
That's why I'm leaving town this weekend, Terry. I'm going to Chattanooga or something. I'm getting out of town.
That's why I leave Columbia on Mule Day. Same reason.
I hear you. Hey, Terry, we got to let you go. But first, it's time to get silly with T. Willie. You got one for us this week?
I sure do. What do you call a dead magician?
I have no idea.
Abracadabra.
Oh, come on. T. Willie, thanks, man. We appreciate you. Have a good one.
Hey, great show as always, guys. Love talking to you.
All right, Terry Wilcox, the Chicken Man, T. Willie, all the nicknames coming at you on WKOM, WZYX, 94.5 The Eagle. Abracadabra. I was thinking Abra, but I couldn't put that one together. So that's always a pleasure to talk to him, and always a pleasure to talk to you guys. We'll be back on Monday, 4 o'clock, right here, same bat time, same bat channel, but not as SM-TNsports.com employees. Monday we will be Main Street Murray.
Well, yeah.
Check us out, mainstreetmurray.com, but that's coming to you soon. So we appreciate it, guys. We got to get out of here. Thank you so much to Dan James for lending us your space today. For Mo Patton, JP Plan, I'm Chris Yow saying have a great day and stay cool, Columbia.